Wow. Wow. Hey, guys. It's Red Marble here, back again, and I'm doing a movie review. Spoilers for the Suicide Squad. Apologies that it's late, but before I get into it, if you're new to the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Marble. Smash the notification button so you know when we get those latest videos uploaded. Comment below and also consider following me on Twitch while we streaming several games. Anyway, guys, The Suicide Squad. This was a very entertaining movie. I'm not gonna lie, it was very entertaining. I'll talk about the positives and negatives in a second, but just an overall some review. For those who don't know, the concept of the Suicide Squad, it's in the name basically. They're government-sanctioned team of basically villains. And go and do certain tasks under the leadership of Amanda Waller, who assembles these guys to basically clean up the dirty work from the US government. And if they deviate from their task, they've got a chip installed in their brain that if they deviate, they'll be blown to smithereens. So that's kind of the incentive for them to go and do what need to be done. In the context of this movie, you have several characters. Obviously, the main ones being Harley Quinn's character, played by margot, and obviously Idris Elba's Bloodsport character as well as John Cena as Peacemaker. Those are kind of the main leads. You've got King Shark as well in the background, and essentially the aim is that to go to this particular country to basically infiltrate this tower called Jotunheim, where there's secrets in there that need to be uncovered and destroyed. So in the midst of all of this whole nonsense, there's basically like a it's the standard, there's an oppressive regime that they go in, and then it's sort of like the regime kind of wants to they want to control the masses, and they're controlling the masses by their fear of what's in that building. You get some sort of the Suicide Squad get to the island, and then in typical Suicide Squad fashion, half of the Suicide Squad pretty much die in the first instance. Shout out to Captain Boomerang Man. Like, I love the guy from the first movie. By the way, the first movie sucked. It sucked really bad. This is better than the first movie by far, way better. But yeah, King Boomerang dying in the first 10-15 minutes of the film was a bit sick, because I liked his character, so it was a bit sad to see him die. Most of them did. I think was it Mongal, I think, died, and quite a lot of the Javelin and the rest of them, Black Haven and stuff like that, they died because he betrayed them and what have you. But Flaggering, the blonde guy, was able to survive. Essentially kind of rendezvous together with Peacemaker, Harley Quinn, the Rat Girl, I'll just call her, and Idris Elba's character as well, Bloodsport. And basically they were kind of trying to figure out a plan. There's a lot of obviously killing hijinks. I think they end up siding with this freedom fighter group, but then Idris Elba's group don't know they're freedom fighters, and they sent to kill them all, and then realize it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's okay. That's one of the criticisms I do have about this. I mean, I know it is a Suicide Squad, not supposed to be just killing indiscriminately and it's all, but I did kind of think that maybe it's just me personally, but just the random killing of innocents, and then just shrug it off and move on, was kind of like, oh okay, all right, they're villains, I guess, but but they're not heroes, so if you can kind of, I guess maybe I'm sensitive to that stuff, you can kind of suppress the fact that at the end of the day, these guys aren't heroes. They're not heroes. What they're doing is not heroic. They're just doing it for their own sort of self-interest. Then it works. But anyway, that's an aside. But as you go further in, you kind of realize deep what actually is hidden behind that. I call it Project Starfish, and eventually you find out this mad professor called the Thinker. He's in the comics as well, all these things stuck on. Shout out to Polka Dot Man, by the way. Shout out to Polka Dot Man. Love the guy. A lot of mummy issues, obviously, but shout out to him. And at the end of the day, and this is spoilers, he ends up getting killed. I'm like, bro, why did you kill Polka Dot Man? Why did you kill him? Like, the dude was a legend, man. Like, polka dots, and dangerous polka dots bite my eye out as well, man. But so that group continued. They eventually find, because I think Harley gets separated from them, and Harley kind of falls for the president of the area, who has a ridiculously good body, and then And then she hears that, oh my god, I've got really bad taste in men, because he talks about sending children who are disloyal to their regime or his regime, to that Jotunheim building, kills him. The general basically is in charge and it's just like, kill all the foreigners, kill all the Americans. Anyway, fast forward and you basically find out like that this big project that came from space when Americans went to space is actually Starro. Now, I'm a somewhat DC fan. I know more about Marvel, but even I know Starro. I was expecting the Justice League, to be honest, to just pop out of nowhere, because Starro was basically the first character that assembled the Justice League. It was their first kind of villain, almost like Loki for the Avengers. Starro was the villain for the Justice League, and I mean, Starro is a ridiculous. Starro is a ridiculous villain. Like in the comics and here, it's just ridiculous. It's like it's as the name sounds. It's a giant star that basically sheds extension of itself that attached to humans. That often and they're killed. They're essentially killed when a star attached to them. They're dead. It kills them, and the extension of his will basically. And basically, this dude is being used to kind of control distance and stuff like that, and suppress them, and experimentation and what have you. And then eventually, like when they all get in, when the plot convenes into this building, you kind of find out that the star's a bit pissed about being caught up, and in doing so ends up killing the thinker, and then breaking out, and all the hijinks ensue. There's destruction, there's killing, there's bolts, everything like that, and Star is free, you know, Rex Avenue, like how because they're going to be able to defeat this big star, until eventually they're able to like at least cause him problems by the rat girl's kind of rats basically overwhelming him, going into his eye, and then just kidding. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how they do it, but fair play to them and do it. And Starro goes, as you know, there's quite a lot of the innocent civilian population that are attached to Star Wars. They die as well, so okay. And then now they're apparently heroes. Waller gets pissed because she's like, "Why did you go against my orders?" Blah, 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 blah. She tries to kill them, but then her colleagues like back her in the head and take her out. In the midst of all this, Peacemaker, who's this sort of patriotic, got to keep the peace, because you find out that the American government were behind this kind of all along in terms of making weaponizing, etc. And they don't want to get that out. He ends up betraying the group, but he ends up getting killed. Though you find out in the post-credit scene that he is still technically alive, somehow. So I'm sure they'll do a spin-off for that on HBO Max or something. But anyway, that's the general plot and general summary. But what I would say is that like it's a very entertaining movie, very entertaining, much better than the original, which was, in my opinion, garbage. I think you could really care about the characters more this time around. You know, you had more empathy for them, and you sort of felt when they die. Like I said, shout out to Polka Dot Man, King Shark. Shout out to King Shark. I love the way the childlike portrayal of him, the innocence, even though he's a freaking monster. But I love that kind of portrayal of him, and he's one of my other favorite characters in the movie, alongside Peacemaker, Polka Dot. You know, you really cared about these characters, and I really appreciate the work that James Gunn did in writing the script. I think the writing of the script was good as well, even though it played some of the same stereotypical tropes, you know, to kind of make it more palatable. You know, overall, it was an entertaining movie. I'd still probably give it like I'd give it like a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. You know, so like 3 stars out of 5, so to speak. So I think it's still worth to go into cinema and watch it. But there definitely are better things out there. I think, like I said, my negatives, I think for me were, like I said, with watching the death. Like this was like, if you're not that way inclined, that might be difficult to be palatable. But again, bear in mind the nature of this film, and also just the fact that like this. You know, there wasn't that. I would appreciate maybe a bit more originality from the Suicide Squad, because even though it is the concept, you know, the girl suicide submission, something like that, it still felt like it was balanced the same cliches as the first movie. I felt at times, and obviously the comic books. I know that's what it is, but I would have maybe liked certain parts of it to maybe explore a different direction than the standard. The standard concept, if that makes any sense, you know. So those are my only two bugbearers, but overall very enjoyable movie. I thoroughly recommend people to go and watch in the cinemas. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Marvel. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch. Remember to comment below. What are your thoughts on Suicide Squad? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why? Well, let me know, and let me know if you'd like me to cover other things on this channel. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers.